So you've just got yourself a fresh Galaxy Z Fold 5 and maybe like me, your wallet just folded up and died. This is me when I bought the Z Fold and this is my wallet. But the upside is that we now have a foldable phone with some serious firepower. It's rocking the most powerful version of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 you can get in a smartphone. And to make sure you unlock your folding phone's full potential from day one, here are 25 carefully selected tips and tricks and fast things to do and hidden features that you need to know about. And just to make this video easier to follow, make sure you add your settings to your home screen. Just swipe up to bring up your apps tray, find the settings here and drag it anywhere on the home screen for now, and you can delete it at the end of this video. So tip number one is a first thing to do, and it's also kind of a request, and I'll explain why. Go to settings, go to sound and vibration, and here go to notification sound. Now, the reason I'm recommending you change this is because pretty much everybody with a Samsung phone will have this notification sound. And when I was at the Samsung Unpacked in Korea, I kept hearing this noise and I kept thinking it was my phone. And I made a mental note to add this to my first things to do because it's going to help you identify your phone. And also this is going to help other people around you too. There are a bunch of different sound effects that you can choose pre-installed on the device. But what I like to do is use an app called Zedge, which you can download from the Play Store. Even though they will try and sell you the premium version and loads of other stuff, it is free to use and you can get wallpapers, ringtones and notification sounds. Now, the notification sound that I've gone with on this phone is the Back to the Future sound. So we can search Back to the Future and then we can choose notification sounds. And it's this second one that sounds the best to me. And it will even set the notification sound for you if you tap this button here. But you will need to give it permission to do so. So just tick this and you'll see when you tap that button now, it says notification sound updated. Tip number two. So this is really the first thing that most people will do. And I do recommend you do it as well. And that is customize the wallpapers. But there are quite a few things you can customize within the wallpaper settings on this phone. So we'll just run through those real quick. To change the wallpaper, just pinch anywhere on the home screen. You'll see wallpaper and style here at the bottom. Here you can go to change wallpapers. And Samsung do have these three at the top here, which are specifically for the folding phone. So they kind of animate when you open the fold. You can add your own photos. There's graphical, there's colors, and then there's also wallpaper services. These ones will change dynamically every time you lock and open the phone. My advice to you guys is to try and go for a wallpaper that's quite dark so it doesn't use too much power. It also helps the icons separate themselves from the background. And you do have the option to set different wallpapers for the lock and home screen if you want, or you can do both at the same time. Now, once you've added a wallpaper, you can see you can tap the clock and change the type of clock. You have the font and everything like that. Underneath here, we can change the layout as well, which is quite cool. You can also change the color of the clock as well. Other things you can change here on the locked screen is the notification here. So you can set it to details. So if you want more information on screen, I do like this one for the unfolded screen, but I prefer the icons only on the cover screen. You can also customize these shortcuts in the bottom left corner. So if you wanted to, instead of having phone there in the bottom left corner, you could add something else like the Google Wallet or the Samsung Pay. On the bottom right, we have the camera. Again, you can change that to something else if you want to. And then this little section here, we got a little plus and it says contact information. You should type in a message here that people will see when they look at your phone when it's locked. Ideally, you want to put an alternative contact number for you or one of your family members. So if someone does find the phone, they can contact you straight away to say that they found it. But do keep in mind, this phone is around £2,000. So there's a good chance they're not going to do that. That's why you do want to enable the Samsung SmartThings Find. Now, the same thing applies to the cover screen. You can have different wallpapers for the cover. You will notice the clock has carried over from the inner display though. Again, just pinch, go to wallpaper and style, change the wallpaper here to whatever you want it to be. And again, if we want to, we can customize the clock and everything like that. Something that's really cool that you can do with the wallpapers as well is if you want to change them up a little bit, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see filter. And this is on the unfolded display as well. You can add filters to the wallpaper if you want to change the look a little bit. And just like the unfolded screen, you can customize all the little bits and pieces here on the cover screen. But if you really want to customize your lock screen, then you definitely want to check out my Good Lock video. I'll link it at the end of this one. I go really in depth into all of the customization options that you can unlock with Good Lock, which is an app that was designed with Samsung, and it really does bring a lot to the table. Too much to go into in this video. So make sure you check out that at the end of this one. Okay, tip number 3, go into settings. This time on the left side, we're going to go to security and privacy. Scroll down and go to where it says biometrics. So the fingerprint sensor on this phone is on the right hand side. So this means regardless of whether you're a lefty or a righty, you want to register your first finger on your right hand and your thumb on your right hand, and also your first finger on your left hand. The reason I say this is when the device is closed, you can unlock the device with your left hand with your first finger. To do this, just go to where it says fingerprints, and then here where it says add fingerprint, just hit that, and then you'll be able to scan in your new fingerprints. You can even name the fingerprints as well if you want to, just by tapping on the scan and then typing left hand, first finger, or whatever you want. And something else I recommend you do while you're on this page is see here where it says fingerprint always on. If you enable this for cover screen and main screens, this means the fingerprint reader will only require one touch with your fingerprint to unlock it. Sometimes when the phone has not been used for a while, you'll have to tap it once to kind of wake it up and then again to unlock it. With this enabled, it will just be quicker. Now, if we go back one step to biometrics, you'll see you can also register your face here. Now, the reason I don't like to use this that much is because it's a 2D face unlock. And a 2D face unlock can be fooled if someone holds up a really good photograph of you in front of the camera. But it is convenient, so it's up to you whether you activate that or not. Now, something Samsung really takes pride in these days is security. So I suggest you check out these features because there's some things you can activate here that are not on by default. Go to settings, go to security and privacy once again, and you'll see here at the top, suggestions. So it's recommending that I look at my app security. If there's anything here that's orange and it's recommending you look at it, I suggest you do. In this case, it wants me to switch on device protection. So this is provided by McAfee. It might be region specific as well. So some regions might not have this. But when you enable this, this scans every app that's installed on your device to make sure it's not some kind of malware. So it's a good idea to turn this on day one if you're worried about your security. And try and remind yourself to come back to this page and have a look at it from time to time, because sometimes these might pop up in orange, particularly this one, the updates. You definitely want to do those updates because they're probably going to be security patches. But it should do them automatically for you, but just keep an eye on it. So Samsung have upgraded the speakers on the Z Fold 5 and they do sound better than ever, but you can make them sound even better with these two quick settings. Check this out. Go to settings, sound and vibrations, scroll down, sound quality and effects, and then here you'll see Dolby Atmos and Dolby Atmos for gaming. Now, in my opinion, this makes the speakers sound a lot better. I suggest you test it out, listen to the speakers with and without Dolby Atmos and see which one you prefer. And if you find that you actually just prefer Atmos for certain types of things like watching a movie or something like that, you can set up a quick way to enable it without having to come back here every single time. Here's how you do that. Swipe down from the top. This brings down your quick settings page. Now, if you want to modify these quick settings, you hit the three dots in the top right corner, go to edit buttons. And then here, you'll actually see there is a Dolby Atmos button available. So we can drag that down and you can see that it's blue, meaning that it's activated. We can deactivate it and reactivate it whenever we want, on demand. Trust me, set that up because in my opinion, it improves the sound quality. So if you take lots of calls through your earbuds, this next tip is really going to help you out a lot. Go to settings. Once again, we're going to go to sound and vibration. Once again, we're going to go to sound quality and effect. And this time we're going to go to adapt sound. So at the bottom here is a hearing test, which is designed to figure out what tones and frequencies you can hear the best and which ones you can't. And it will boost up the ones that you can't. This works specifically through earbuds. So all you need to do is choose your age group here, do the hearing test, and it will figure it all out for you. Now, once you've set up your hearing profile, the next thing I recommend you do is come back to this page, the adapt sound page, and change it to calls only. The reason I say this is because if you're using music apps or you're using headphones apps, they quite often have EQs that will be working on top of this EQ, and that could ruin the sound for you completely. So I do recommend leaving it on calls only. Really, one of the first things you should do on day one is get yourself a screen protector and a decent case for your phone. And I've been using Whitestone Domes for more than 5 years now. This video is not sponsored by them. They did send over their latest screen protectors though, so check these out. This one is the film for the inside of the screen. I've had this on my Z Fold 4 from day one, and I don't even know it's there. It's perfect. This one here is the premium dome glass. You need to cure these with a UV light. And then there's this all-in-one pack which includes the EA glass, EPU film, and a lens protector for the camera as well. And they did send me over their Escudo case. I did try one of these on a Pixel Fold device. This thing's like an Iron Man armor for the phone. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you what this case looks like when it's fitted to the device. And if you guys want to check out any of these, there will be links below this video, and I will be doing some 1-minute shorts to show you how to apply these things. So make sure you subscribe, notifications on for that. So the biggest advantage of the Z Fold 5 is the fact that you have this massive display. And another advantage is that when you open an app, you get a taskbar across the bottom, which gives you really quick access to whatever's here. Now, this is a very important step. Come back to the home screen. This bottom row of apps here on the unfolded display, this is your taskbar. It's just shrunk down to smaller size when you open an app. So spend some time setting up this taskbar with the top 8 apps that you think you'll use the most on the unfolded display. Now, once you've got your app set up, whenever you open another app on the big screen, you have quick access to all of those 8 apps permanently here at the bottom of the screen. These 2 will be dynamic apps. They will constantly change depending on what apps you used last. And you do have access to all of your apps as well, just here. So now you've got that set up, let me show you maybe the best use case for a big screen for productivity. It is split screening. And there are 3 default ways to split screen. So let me show you those real quick. Let's say you've got an app open on the screen already. From your taskbar, you can literally just drag another app anywhere, either horizontally or vertically onto the page. And now we've got a split down the middle. And we can also add another split to this. So let me open YouTube here, drag that onto a quarter of the screen. And you can see now we have 3 apps running at the same time. So that's method 1. Here's method 2. If you open your backgrounding, go to an app that you want to split screen, tap the icon of that app, and you'll see there's a few options, one of them being split screen view. Again, this splits the screen down the middle. Now we have the option on the right hand side to decide what we want to split it with. And there we go. That's the second method. Here's the third. See the little faint line here on the side? That's your handlebar. That's what they call it. And this opens the edge panel. Split screening from the edge panel works the same way as the taskbar. We can drag the app onto the screen, onto whatever half we want, and then we can choose another app for this side. We can also bring the edge panel out again, and we can add the third app as well, like so. Now, once you've got your split screen set up, see the 3 dots at the center of the page. If you tap that, you can rotate the split screen by tapping this icon. And if you tap the 3 dots another time, you see the little star there. This opens up the option for you to add the app pair to your taskbar, to your home screen, or to your edge panel. So if you feel like it's a setup you're going to be using a lot, then you can use any of these or all of them if you want. And those 3 ways are good, but there are more advanced and better ways, in my opinion, to split screen, and they're a little bit harder to get used to. So I'm going to show you those a little later on in the video, so stick around for that. Okay, let's go back to the edge panel. So the edge panel by default will have a bunch of apps already set up in it. What I recommend you do is delete these apps. To do this, hit the pen on the right hand side. You'll have little minuses next to the apps. Delete them all. What I recommend you do is use the edge panel for apps that you don't have here on the taskbar. For example, you could use it for your entertainment stuff. This is a big screen. You're probably going to be watching content on it. So maybe add Netflix, Disney, maybe some gaming apps, so you know where to find them and you have quick access to them from the edge panel. Or of course, you could be more sensible and add productivity types of things. And I'm going to add entertainment stuff. And here's a good example of an app pair to pin to the edge panel. Let's say you're researching something on Google and you want to take notes on that. You could add Google Docs or Google Keep to one half of the screen and have Google at the top. And you can change the ratio as well if you want to. Once you've got that set up, hit the three dots in the middle, hit the little star, add it to the Edge panel. And now we have quick access to it here. And you can have 2 rows of apps here as well if you want to. So the Edge panel can do more than just launch apps. There is actually more panes you can add to the Edge panel. And to do this, just swipe it out. And very briefly, you'll see the settings pop up here. It will disappear if you don't tap it. So swipe it out, hit the settings icon here. And now you can see there are more panels available. So take a look at these, see which ones could be useful for you. I'm going to add the compass. But one I recommend you definitely do is the Smart Select, because this adds some really cool features to this phone. Now when we swipe out the Edge panel, we can swipe again and we have the Smart Select feature. So this actually will allow you to grab screenshots from parts of the screen or even create GIFs. And I'll let you guys play around with that and figure out exactly what they do. I'm not going to explain it all here. Now, one last thing to customize on the Edge panel. When you swipe it out again, hit the little settings, bottom left corner. This time we're just going to go back from the panels, scroll down to where it says handle. And then here we can actually customize this handle. If you find this too distracting, you could change the transparency. If it's not visible enough, you can make it more colorful and even change the size of it as well. So it's more accessible. You can move it up and down to a more suitable position for your thumb. You can change the width to thinner or thicker. What I recommend you do is hold your phone, figure out where that should be, where you can access it quickly, but not accidentally, and really just customize the look and feel of it for yourself. Now, when you're using the big screen and you're typing, you'll notice it defaults to the Samsung keyboard, and it's in 2 parts. And I really like the implementation here of Samsung's keyboard. It's split down the middle, so you have easy access to it with your thumbs on both sides. And there's some great features built in as well, which are not activated out of the box. So to activate these features, and you can thank me later, see the 3 dots on the right hand side. If you tap that, you'll see things like Spotify and YouTube, and there's even more stuff over here. Let's tap Spotify just for example. Now you'll see the option to activate all of these add-ons for the Samsung keyboard. You can pick and choose, but I do recommend you just select all and hit continue. Now you have a ton more features, and they can provide quick shortcuts to content online, as well as more emojis and GIFs and things like that. Now, there are only 3 physical buttons on the Galaxy Fold. It's the power button, that's what I call it, and the volume rocker up and down. Now, what I recommend you do is customize the power button and really tailor it for how you use the phone. To do this, go to settings. On the left side, scroll down to advanced features. Here where it says side button, tap that, and you'll see straight away, by default, the double push here opens the camera on the phone. A push and hold on the power key wakes Bixby. Now, Bixby has improved, but I never ever use it on my Samsung device. I do prefer it to be the power menu, so you can push and hold that. Now you have quick access to restart the device or power down the device or do emergency calls. If you do change this and you find that actually you do want Bixby, you can go to side button settings here and go back to this page and change it back to Bixby at any time if you want to. Unfortunately, at this point in time, you can't remap that to anything you want it to be. However, you can remap the double push of the button. So instead of quick launch camera, if you go here, open app, you can choose the app that you want it to open. I really like the Google Wallet. That's my go-to wallet app. If there's an app that you use frequently, that it would make sense for it to be a double push here at the side, map it to that. So you should spend a bit of time and customize that button to do what you want it to do. Okay, so if you've made it this far, the training wheels are truly off. Let me show you the other ways to split screen that I didn't show you earlier. We already looked at 3 basic ones. Here's the advanced ones. Go to settings, advanced features, and then here where it says multi-window, tap that. So here are the 3 additional ways to split screen, and if you tap on the text, you'll actually see how to do it. So with the swipe for split screen, if you enable it, 2 fingers from the side dragging inwards will split screen for you very quickly. And you can see how easily that works. So once you get familiar with this, it is going to be easier to do than the other ways I showed you earlier. Now the second one, if you tap the text again, it will show you how it works. with this enabled, you can drag down from the top right corner into the center. This puts the current app into pop-up view. Like this. Now see the blue line at the top of the pop-up window. If you tap that, you have options here to split screen, to minimize, and also to expand. The split screen is the second icon. So that's not quite as quick as the other ones for split screening, but the pop-up window can be very useful if you want to keep something at the forefront whilst you're doing something else behind. Now this setting here is really good, but only if you don't mind this little bar being on the screen every time you open an app. If you find that distracting, then you don't want to use this. But if you don't mind that line, whenever you tap it, you've got the option immediately to split screen or do a pop-up window. That's the pop-up icon. And if you hold your finger on that bar, you can drag the window around. And just like before, you have the options to minimize, maximize, split screen. And the icon on the furthest to the left actually adds the controls permanently to the pop-up window. So you can minimize like this, and it just stays floating on the screen. So you can actually have a few of these floating windows minimized constantly on the screen that you can drag around and pop up whenever you need them. And here's another little tip for just improving the split screen a little bit. And it really depends on the app that you're using and how the app splits. Different apps might not support certain ratios. So the full screen in split screen view, if you enable this, you'll see here is a little explanation of how it just stretches the window to fill the screen a little bit more. So here's another advanced feature. Go to settings. On the settings page, go to advanced features. And then here on the right side, we're going to go to labs. Now there's some really great things to play around with here, and definitely test these out, see how you get on with them. The first one I recommend you check out is the flex mode panel. This is one of the greatest features that's not on by default. Let's say you're on the web browser and you fold the web browser like this. You'll see it just kind of snaps into place. You can still scroll around like normal, and it's all just one piece. But if you notice, there's a little icon down here in the bottom left corner, and that's the flex view icon. If you tap that, that expands a new set of controls at the bottom of the screen. This is a trackpad, and you can use gestures on this trackpad for scrolling. And on the left-hand side, you'll see there are a ton of controls for you to use. This icon should be familiar to you by now. It is split screening. This one brings down your quick settings. This one's screenshots, and it will only screenshot the top half of the screen. This one with the hand and the square activates the touchpad. And then when you hit the three dots, you've got display brightness, volume, and settings. So definitely play around with the flex view. It is a cool feature. Now, once again, in the settings, the advanced features, and then the labs, there's some other stuff you want to look at, like this, the multi-window for all apps. Now, this just makes the split screening and pop-up apps work a little more seamlessly, because some apps have not been optimized to work in split screen or pop-up view. And by enabling this, it will allow you to do that even if the apps do not support it. And once again, staying in the settings, advanced features, and labs, have a look at this one here. Similar to the multi-screen for all apps, this will actually force apps that are not designed for the landscape view, which is this way, to actually fit the screen. A good example of this is Instagram. What you'll find is when you open Instagram on this phone, there'll be black bars down the sides. With this enabled, you can actually make it fit entirely on the screen. It might warp the dimensions a little bit, so you might want to think about that depending on what app it is. But you can see here, you can activate this on all of the apps on the phone if you want to. So at this point in time, this phone is really fresh and I've not really downloaded much for it. I've not customized the layout with widgets and things like that, but I do recommend you do that. And to add widgets is very easy. Just pinch on the home screen and you see the widgets here. And something that I like to do is create widget stacks. Widget spinners is what I call them. So if you pinch anywhere on the home screen, go to widgets here. One of the ones that I like to use a lot, just underneath the Google Assistant, is this one in device care, storage and optimization. So we can literally just drag that here, drag that onto the Google Assistant search bar. Now I can swipe right here, and this gives me a quick way to clear the RAM usage in the background. Just hit that button there. And you can see I now have more RAM memory available on the device. See which ones you think will be most useful to you on a daily basis and create a stack of widgets on your home screen. Okay, let's dive into some more security and privacy features here on the phone. Go into settings, scroll down to security and privacy, scroll all the way down to where you see secure Wi-Fi. Now this is a new feature that Samsung have added to their phones, and it's really useful. And if you tap on protection plan, you'll see you get around a gig a month for free. And you do have the option to upgrade if you want more data. And the times you'd want to use this is when you're using unsecured networks, for example, at an airport or a train station. Because if you're connected to a network with lots of other people, there are hackers that can intercept your data, and even the provider of that network might be trying to capture data about you to sell you stuff. So by enabling this, you're actually hiding your IP address. And in fact, you're even hiding it from Samsung, and it explains here it routes the traffic through 2 separate internet relays, so you're extra secure. And if you do want to upgrade for unlimited usage of this, it's £1.79 a month, which is reasonable. It's more or less the same as what you'd pay for a VPN service. And if you just need it for a day, you can do that for 89 pence. The downside of this compared to a normal VPN, such as NordVPN, for example, is it doesn't give you quite as much control. You can't choose what servers it's connected to. But this is a very easy option if you don't want to go too advanced with a VPN. And if we go back to the secure Wi-Fi page, I don't recommend you turn on auto protect unless you subscribe for the premium version, because you don't want to run out of all that data immediately without you knowing. And once again, the best way to use this is to add a button to your quick settings menu. In case you forgot, this is how you do it. Swipe down from the top, swipe down again, hit the 3 dots in the top right corner, go to edit buttons. Now swipe across the buttons here and you'll see secure Wi-Fi. Drag that down somewhere so you have quick access to it now. Whenever you connect to a public hotspot, you can literally just pull that down, activate the secure Wi-Fi, and your data will be safe. Okay, here's another security feature that I recommend you set up on day one. Go to your settings again, security and privacy again, scroll all the way down and go to secure folder. So this is a great thing to set up for your private documents, confidential stuff. This also allows you to run second instances of apps. So if you have multiple accounts on one app, for example, let's say X or Instagram, you can set up alter egos here through the secure folder. So just hit continue. It will talk you through each step. It will ask you to set up a custom PIN number for the secure folder, and you can unlock it with fingerprints as well. Okay, so this tip will help your device run more smoothly. Go to settings, go to battery and device care, and scroll down to auto optimization. So when you enable this, from time to time, your phone will reboot itself to refresh everything that's happening on the device. And it's something that I think a lot of people forget to do from time to time, but it really does make a big difference to the performance of your phone. And with this enabled, it will do it automatically for you at a time when you're not usually using your phone. Okay, so these next 2 features are very powerful ones, so powerful in fact that I've made dedicated videos about them. So swipe up to go to your app drawer, go to the Galaxy Store, and in here search for Camera Assistant and install this. This is designed specifically for Samsung devices, and it opens up some more options for you within the camera app, including this one here, the quick tap shutter. So this just makes your shutter on your camera react a little bit faster. So I do recommend you switch that on. And also I recommend you spend a little bit of time looking at these settings here. And if you want a full-on camera guide, make sure you stick around to the end, because I'll link my camera guide at the end of this video. Now remember earlier on when I spoke about how you can customize way more stuff on the lock screen and things like that? Well, this is how you do it. Swipe up, go to the Galaxy Store and install GoodLock. Once again, this is designed specifically for Samsung devices, and it's a brilliant app. There's so much you can do here, and I did make an entire video about that, so I'm about to link that at the end of this video. So if you want to go really in depth with all of the customization features that are available, you definitely want to check out that video, and definitely check this out. And just to give you an idea of what you can do with this app, you can create your own themes, you can customize the animations if you're using the S Pen. You've got Wonderland for creating animated backgrounds. You've got Lockstar, which allows you to customize the lock screen with a crazy amount of features, and also the always on display. KeysCafe is one of my favorite. You can customize and create your own keyboard with really interesting animations. And there's also a bunch of different ways to navigate the device, quick shortcuts and gestures that can open extra things on the home screen. And that's just to name a few. And here's what really should have been tip number 1, because it's been driving me crazy throughout this video. Swipe up from the bottom to bring up your apps tray, hit the 3 dots at the top right corner and go to sort. Change this to alphabetical order. This is going to make things so much easier for you to find on your device. I don't know why it's not on this by default, but it should be. So for the love of God, organize your app drawer. So thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video. Of course, I've saved a bonus tip for you guys, and it's a really cool new feature that can be great for making online content and also guides just like this. Or if you just want to show somebody how to do something on a phone, check this out. Go to settings, scroll down to advanced features, go to screenshots and screen recorder. And if you scroll down, you'll see there's now this selfie video size. So when you're screen recording now, you can actually record yourself on the selfie camera and the screen at the same time. So if you want to create some kind of tutorial, all you need to do is start your screen recording. You'll see a countdown, and in the top right corner here, you see a little person. If you tap that, that opens the camera. So this means you can talk to camera and explain to them exactly what it is you're trying to show them on a phone or on a website or anything like that. This is a great feature, and you can adjust the size of the selfie camera video if you want to. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, got some kind of value out of it. If you want to check out that good lock tutorial, that's on screen right now. If you want to check out that camera guide for Samsung devices, that's also on screen right now. And I've done a bunch of other Samsung Galaxy tutorials. I'll link those below this video if you truly want to master your Galaxy. So I appreciate you guys. If you just subscribed, I will see you in the next one.